Hi everybody. For everybody who doesn't know me, I'm Andy Balistraci, and I wanted to show you in this short little video what we do to extend our season through the cooler months, the winter months, the spring, early spring, before a lot of the hot weather veggies can be put in the ground. So we have a basic raised bed. They're roughly 3 feet wide by 10 feet long. You can make them any dimension you want. We put this 1/2-inch hardware cloth, metal hardware cloth, to protect against gophers. So that's attached on the underside with heavy-duty staples. We've bought Cold Creek Grower's Choice Select compost. It's a really good product. It's kind of on the expensive side, but it's well worth it. We've added a little bit of homemade biochar, which is a whole other issue. But basically, some of our favorites are, we've got red Russian kale, we've got lacinato kale, we've got arugula, and we have elephant garlic in here. So, you know, the kales can pretty much grow year-round in this climate. And, you know, from this stage onward, you can harvest as needed. The arugula is great because we can do what's called a cut and come again. So if you see a row, you got a row of arugula, you can go down and harvest a little bit here and there, leaving some space in between. That'll regrow, and you can get a really long season like that. One of the other things we do to extend the season, you can see it in the bed behind me, is we cover it with plastic. It's the plastic usually doesn't last more than 2 seasons. It degrades in the sunshine, but it also adds a little bit more warmth on those cold nights in the winter and spring. And you can also cut with like a utility knife. You can see behind me some venting holes. We pretty much leave that even through some of this cold weather we've had recently, with the vents open like that, and they really seem to be fine. Everything I'm talking about is pretty hardy in temperatures, particularly if it's covered and it's warming the soil. It kind of keeps it warm through the evening. So what we're going to do today is plant a little bit in between. So we're trying to maximize the use of the space in here. We've got, you know, obviously existing stuff that we seeded, and this was seeded back in late November, December. You know, I love elephant garlic. Some people definitely think it's an acquired taste, but it's really hardy. It will grow. It couldn't grow very happily in an irrigated bed, but I've had them grow with some heavy mulching. They survive with little or no extra irrigation, and they'll keep producing bulbs like garlic, but much more hardy throughout the year. So one of the other varieties I wanted to show was this Mizuna 605 summer variety. This is from Baker Creek Heirloom Seed. I just started growing this past year, and it's advertised as a heat-tolerant and bolt-resistant Mizuna, because most Mizunas that I've grown and that are out there, once the hot weather happens, that's just the end of their life cycle. They start to bolt, they flower, and then it's done. This, where I've grown it, I don't have any in these beds here to show you, but where I've grown it, it's just stays very tender, sweet throughout the summer, and now with some extra protection like these beds, you could be growing it throughout the winter. So just very quickly, like in between these rows, you can take a little hand trowel and then you have to remember, a little bit of seed like this goes a long way. I'm just sprinkling it in. The density is like maybe, let's say, without getting too caught up with it, you know, a seed every inch or so. And then, as a general rule for most seeds, you cover the seed double the width, double the thickness of the seed. So with small seed like this Mizuna, which is pretty much almost the size of a pinhead, you really don't need to do much. And that's it. Water it in, cover it up, and you're good to go. We want to put some carrots, which are slow to germinate, in between some of these established rows, which is just a good technique, because if you don't label it. This is from Quail Seeds. This is a local seed company in Mendocino. Support them. The variety is Juarot. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I think it's a Nepali variety. Same thing. Very shallow. And always put in a little more than you think you need, because you can always thin the plants once they start to germinate, or even as the carrots in particular are different sizes. So you always have a little bit of carrots in there. So I hope you have great success. And remember, in a very small space with the right seeds and good soil mix, you can have food year round. Happy planting.